That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Thank you. poorly, but I'm dense.
Yeah. It's a thought that counts, or the effort, or whatever.
All right, and killing the music, and here we go. So as you can tell, we are down a couple people tonight. One is sick, but she is recovering. I've been staying in touch with Brittany. She is probably going to be released about tomorrow, I think, or real shortly thereafter. She's feeling a lot better, but she's got some recovery time ahead of her. And we're missing Derek because the bastard is at Salt Lake Fan X.
Yeah.
So lucky him.
Exactly.
All right. So let's do a quick recap of where we left off. You managed to defeat Blood Goblin.
Right.
And I believe the rest of it was just a powwow. You guys actually came up with the idea of getting her legal representation.
Right. Exactly.
Through a third party.
Through a third party to get legal representation. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the attempt of either reform or just assisting in further cases.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So did either of you have anything that you wanted to do in particular as of this moment? It's been probably about a day or two. Ixion is probably off doing Ixion things, lamenting that he doesn't have all that he needs or his resources. And Carmen is actually at her day job, trying to pull down a living.
Right. Okay.
That first day he's gonna spend practicing. I know it's repetitive, and I know it might seem like I'm trying to power game, but it's just what he would do.
Sure. I'll give you a roll for that to see if you can advance your power stunt.
65 off of, let me pull back up my character sheet. 65 off of an amazing. I believe that is good.
That is a yellow result.
And that would be number 4, so that would be good.
So that would take you to number 5 success at this point as to your plasma generation.
After that, feeling successful in what he did, he's going to actually reach out to his full brother and full sister, and if he can't get a hold of them directly, leave a message to give him a call back.
Okay. So you've been able to leave him a message. Nobody's responded as of yet.
Perfectly understandable.
Yes.
Oh, and Dale, Mark's company is the update now is that they've secured the office space. They're starting to move in some bare bones office equipment that they need to get everything started. And obviously the phone lines and everything are active. So they've got that. And they've got the extremely fast, drumroll please, DSL.
Ooh, top of the line.
We're above 56.6 now.
Way above 56.6 at this particular time frame.
Yeah. The 90s.
Yep. The spare no expense. There are no more air raid sirens and AOL flashes for your company.
Excellent. Good. Okay. Then, with regard to that, let's see. I'd want to know, because one of my goals for the vein is to get it all kind of, not to pull an obvious reference, but get it all like, Tony Starked out,
Mm-hmm.
get ourselves some fabrication in here, make it where things can like get created or like fixed rapidly. And so like one of my first steps in like getting that set up here is to maybe pull in extra equipment that we would normally be using for like fabrication, prototyping, and stuff
Okay.
from the company, and like maybe work in tandem with Ms. McCall to get that like secretly moved into the vein, so I can start putting that together like in a spot optimally.
Okay. You guys really only have that one employee
Okay.
who is the pilot. So between her and the pilot, that's what they're going to directly oversee. So that way the location isn't compromised and identities and whatnot. I will say that the computer did pick up something in the news directly from ZNN, local news affiliate out in. Hold on a second. Where is that located? I'm drawing a blank. Out in Nevada. So it's something that took place out in Nevada. It's the media seems to be reporting from somewhere in New Mexico, near the border.
Okay.
The ticker at the bottom, because right now it's muted, so it's already keyed for closed captions, and the closed captions is actually pretty good. It's not like closed captions of the actual 90s where it went more based off of like phonetic. So
Right.
you had terrible misspellings and sometimes words that were inappropriate just because they didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
But it looks like there was some sort of a blast that took place in the Nevada desert. So far, they've been unable to pinpoint it, but locals in the area believe it came from somewhere near the near Area 54 or Area 51. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Are you hearing my doggos?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, give me a second. Let me switch over to push to talk.
Oh, no problem.
With that, if Ms. McCall isn't busy at the moment, I'd contact her to ask if like that should be something we should be concerned about.
I mean, she's looking at it and turning up the volume a little bit. And she says, "Well, regretfully, it is a little bit outside of our range, where we are currently located here in Colorado. But also, if this really is Area 51, the government isn't going to be letting anyone near it. So I don't think there's really anything we can do it as of this point."
Understood. Okay. Just file that away. I'll probably I'll see if I can like save that video clip or just make a note if not possible in the main computer of that occurrence.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, it takes a second to to basically back it up. The technology in this computer, again, it's nothing like what you have, but the best way to put it is this is more like a DVR before DVRs became a thing.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's nothing super fancy. It doesn't have like a great splash page layout or whatnot.
Right.
It's very old school DVD looking, where it's like you had the DVD shuttle and play and whatnot up there. So it'll record up to a certain bit, and the quality isn't as good as the original broadcast.
Right.
Again, technology isn't caught up to that point, but at least you have that going for you here. So you do basically have an early version of DVR to capture that sort of thing.
Great. Excellent. Okay. Right.
And you also, as you're doing that, you end up seeing that they segue from that over to a surprise news, as they indicate, that in a surprise turn of events, the villain known as Blood Goblin has retained the only legal counsel apparently afforded to her, and that is he's apparently very reputable in to an extent, almost a notoriety, because he doesn't play games with in court cases. Think who's the guy who did if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. What was the guy's name?
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran. There you go.
There you go. Yep,
Think something like that. Like this guy
Okay.
takes on, the dangerous, high-profile cases that no one else will touch, sort of thing.
Okay.
And they end up playing his trailer, and it's this little jingle, and it's almost like the starting like news broadcast. It's all, and you hear Stephen B. New, Stephen B. New, Stephen B. New, Stephen B. New, call Stephen P. New, Stephen B. New, Stephen B. New, Stephen B. New, when you need to sue Stephen B. New, Stephen B. New, Stephen B. New, an outlaw mud show or two, he'll sue their ass.
That's awesome.
So that's like the segue, and they're making a big deal of it because normally, in these particular cases, unless they were like, wrongfully accused superhero or something like that, they just get the public defender and they get shuffled off to jail or whatnot. But because she's actually being defended by somebody like high profile, it's making the news. They're like, whoa, what's the deal here? Sort of thing. And so, and even in the shot that they have of her, like the first pictures that they have of her are like when she apparently, because you see her in the background, it's not an interview, but you see like her face like go like, wait, what? You don't actually see it, but like, who? Like even she was shocked, like she got some sort of like legal counsel, and she's just like completely dumbfounded as they're shuffling her off to who's going to be meeting with their legal representation.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
After he is done with his workout, his training regimen, he's going to try and create a mold for an armlet, like using like traditional methods.
Mhm.
So he's gonna get a whole bunch of sand, packed it into a whole bunch of 2x4s, and kind of carve out his own little mold of it.
Okay, that is something you're going to have to work on. The vein doesn't have that sort of, like, Mark is in the process of getting fabrication and whatnot. You're going to have to like kind of earmark it for something like that. It's not something that they have that readily available. This was more scientific research as opposed to straight up fabrication that was in here.
Oh no, this isn't like a proper fabrication method. This is like nowadays it's common that we know how to like you take a mold, you put it into the sand, and then you remove the mold and you just fill it up with whatever material.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's trying to do, and he's doing only a half armlet just to see if he can do it. He's gonna make the mold, which is gonna suck. And then he's just gonna go over to a vein of electrum and just melt it on top of it and melt it into it. Like I said, this is not proper fabrication. This is DIY.
Okay, it's still going to take a bit, but you're going to have that the stuff brought in at least to do it safely.
Yeah.
Or to attempt it safely, anyways. Even if the process is a little haphazard, so that's going to take a couple days. Not super tough. You can, sand and 2x4s and whatnot are readily available. It's just a matter of, that wasn't something they accounted for right off the bat.
At least it's cheap.
It is cheap, yes.
That's gonna cost about $10.
Right.
But yeah, I was thinking about that. That's something that he would probably do just for the giggles and grins of it, to focus his energy somewhere. Go make the mold, go up to one of the veins of electrum, and just kind of let it plop into there and get down into the material.
Okay. So was
But
there anything else that you're going to be doing, Mark?
Let's see here. Okay, since I've got that going for the lab equipment, that's in process. I want to see then if I can work on getting our computer upgraded. I was thinking like down the line with regards to getting everything like kind of automated, and we give commands and it just happens that way. Even if we're not here, things are being worked on,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a dumbed down copy of like artificial intelligence what I've got, where
Voice
it can
activation.
just, yeah, exactly, it's got, you know, kind of a Google-esque thing before even Google became a thing. So essentially just a
Web
simpler
web
version of me
crawler
that
was a
is
thing.
sentient. Hmm. Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, here you go. But yeah, so essentially seeing if I can generate an AI that we can use for the Vane computer system.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give me a reason roll?
As we do a bunch of support things.
Yeah.
Starting that off is easy enough. That's just scripting at that point in algorithms.
Okay. Dang. Only a 31. Unless, well, let's see. Can we use karma to increase, like how did that work again? Like using karma to change
You
die
have to
rolls?
you have to do it before you roll it.
Oh, okay.
But you spin the points and you go, okay, well, I'm going to spend like 20 karma to influence this roll.
Okay.
Something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Well, then, yeah, I've already rolled, so.
What was your reason?
Oh, yeah. Reason is at amazing.
Okay, that's still a green result.
Oh, okay.
So it's slow going, more so because you're not trying to replicate yourself. You're trying to do something from scratch.
Mhm.
But I mean, you get several pages into the scripting by this point.
Okay.
One of
Excellent.
the things you realize you're going to need, especially for this computer, you're going to need a special casing, in essence, for the CPU/brain.
Okay. So I'll probably need to wait for more of that like fabrication equipment to come in to like make that, get it all set up then.
You're going to need to not the fabrication per se, unless you're trying to do that all by yourself. You can shortcut it some if you. I mean, everything that you have is custom, obviously, but you can shortcut some of it by getting higher end processing chips.
Oh, okay. Like that they would be commercially available right now?
Uh, yeah, but more. I mean, they're obviously more expensive because they're more military grade or
Mm,
commercial grade high end tech use, and
right.
you probably have to slave a bunch of them together.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I might have to funnel some of that through my company or something, make it a little easier to
Okay,
acquire.
but that's once you get done with the coding portion of it, you can try at that point to get the replicate it physically. The good news is the system that you're working with is based off of, in essence, an earlier version of you.
Right. Okay.
So you've got a bonus and a minus, in essence. You're going to need to come up with the extras, but the at least the framework, you're not that far off.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So essentially just needing the hardware
Mhm.
because it's not going to take that much more to get the software ready.
Right.
Okay.
Provided you've got the coding and everything correct.
Got it. Okay.
You
Cool.
haven't had a chance to test it yet.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
While he's doing that, Freddy's actually going to make his way. Does Steel City have I know I probably just called it the wrong name, but you know what I meant. Does the city actually have a SeaWorld or water or aquarium, something like that?
No, it does not.
It does
Strongford does
not?
not. It sits on a river, but it doesn't have anything of that nature.
All right. He's gonna go to. I was gonna try and use that as like a consulting. Another thing he can do for consulting is actually go to the water park and be like, "All right, this is what you need to do to improve your environment." Blah 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 blah. That way, he can make a little bit more money. But in this case, he'll actually go to the river and he's going to try and communicate with the animals there to see if they know about anything to do with the crime boss from the area. I forget the guy's name because I Justin's horrible with names. Mr. Elusive.
Well, if you want to call him that, you're more than welcome to.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, no, I do. You're talking about Blackout.
Blackout. There we go.
Okay, so you are heading down to the riverfront, which, speaking of which, I'm working on a map, so you'll have kind of a visual of what the place looks like. I'm having some trouble coloring it so you can see the various districts, but I have a rough map that I'll be able to provide you probably next game.
Okay.
But the riverfront itself, and in fact, let me pull up the map that I have. Here we go, and here. Oh, it's not in a. All right, hold on one second. Take off the layer I've got on this and then save it. So you have a visual.
I'm imagining it's going to go into the super chat.
Yes.
Okay. Let me pull up both super chats I have.
Let me make sure it's small enough to go in there. It is. Okay. So it's kind of big. It's in the process of uploading right now. Fairside is in the bottom right-hand corner, across the canal there.
Oh, that's a big old place.
So there you go. Got yourself a nice visual.
And the actual housing, is that clustered?
That's not necessarily all housing.
Okay. But yeah.
But yes, it is a very big city.
And you said Fairside, where Blackout is operating, is in the bottom right-hand corner?
Yes.
All right, so that works out pretty well. But yeah, he'll start talking to the fishes. See? And I don't even need lead shoes to do it.
No, this is true.
Pretty good.
Sorry, I can't help myself with the bad jokes. You guys have known me long enough.
That's good. That's fine. Let's see. You have. That's right. Communicate with animals.
I do.
So keep in mind that doesn't give them. It's much like Feral Whispers from Vampire. It doesn't give them better intelligence.
Proper intelligence, yeah.
It just means you're able to communicate with them in a rudimentary way. But yeah, I mean, you're able to jump into the river nearby, swim around, and swims with the fishes. In essence, you know, with the mob. The fish there don't really know what it is that you're talking about. You're having a hard time correlating your concern about Blackout or information about him to something the fish might understand.
All right, that's what I figured.
There,
I
there are
see.
there are problems with dumping though that they will communicate. Bad in the way of like there's bad water.
You beat me actually to my next question.
Oh, yeah.
I asked them to point out where the dumping's happening at.
Oh yeah, that's easy enough. So I mean, they swim off to go show you like where it's at, and I mean it's blatantly obvious where you would find it in any 70s and 80s movie. It's like not far off the docks, stuff is being dumped.
It's
Dumped.
always the industrialist.
Mhm. But they're in barrels, so it's like the barrels are fine until they hit the ground, hit the bottom of the base of the river floor, and then eventually start to corrode and then leak, summarily.
Does it look like it's toxic stuff? Like toxic, or just bringing down water quality type of I'm trying to phrase it right because I'm thinking of like toxic kill everything and toxic just like create a little blight directly around the barrels.
From what you can tell, the dumping is not necessarily it's been going on a while, so there's kind of a pile at the bottom. The barrels all have markings taken off of them, so it's hard to tell directly like where it came from. The ones that have corroded and are opening, they are spewing some sort of muck around kind of a radius around where the dumping is. It's hard to say without having the proper equipment to test the water. You could always force yourself by going in and seeing if you could breathe, but
no.
That's essentially the aquatic version of the taste test.
Yeah, I don't have a private here to shove into the barrel, so I do not consider myself to be expendable.
Okay.
And I'm not going to send one of these poor fishies in there. He will return to the I keep forgetting the names of places. My brain is frozen. He returns back to the hideout.
Okay.
And he reaches out to his publicist and says, "Hey, Strongford seems to be on this lake with a bit of a river. Could we do a publicity tour out here instead of working with the Oceaneers? We're taking a look at smaller riverways and lakes as a way of maybe trying to promote a little bit more of the supers being actual good people instead of trying to focus on big problems, solving like local issues." Because she knows, I'm imagining it's a she, and I imagine she knows who I am, like deep down.
So, are you talking about the group that you work with, in an oceanic sense?
Yeah. Because I would imagine he would actually have a PR person that helps like take pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's getting a good reputation.
Yeah, you probably have a small staff of like maybe 3 or something that I mean, it's real, tight budget or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, they get back to you and they can do that. It's going to take some time to relocate some of their equipment and, set up temporary office space in Strongford, to do that. And then of course, get media involved or, rent cameras accordingly, basically the same thing you would do, but, from an oceanography standpoint. So it's going to take them about a week to get set up. But yeah, I mean, you say the word, they can do it.
Yeah, let's do that. I think it would be, at least for my brother and sister, it'll make them look better to show that once we leave the military service, it shows a more positive outlook that we're not just trying to make money for ourselves, that we can actually do things for the better good. Yes, I know how manipulative this is. I know this does not count for karma.
Yeah, so they're like, yeah, sure, boss. Just give us maybe a week or so. We'll get what we need flown in, and we'll let you know when we've got something set up that we can get this all taken care of.
All right, I already have my regular costume and all that stuff. Make sure we just bring the underwater equipment as well.
So we talk. I mean, we can't bring like the mini sub and whatnot, but we can.
Oh no, I mean like the cameras.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We can do that.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm staying at this hotel. Just leave a message with them. Blah XXXYYY.
Okay.
For the telephone number. I may not always be able to get to it right away. I am doing some other type of freelance work right now.
All right, sure thing, boss. I mean, we're just happy to be doing something instead of sitting idle, but it's your dime.
Yeah, and what he begins to do is he starts looking at which way the river's flowing and a whole bunch of like basic stuff. If there's any, he goes to Hyperion. Hyperion,
Yes, brother.
can you do some research for me? And he'll point out on the map from the place where he found the barrels.
Mhm.
Can we see if there's been an increase of deviants popping up downriver from this point, like directly along the path of the river?
Are you wondering if something is contaminating the water supply from this point?
Oh, I know something's contaminating the water supply. I actually called my publicist crew. They're going to be out here in about a week, and I'm going to go on a dive through the river like I've done before, just not in the ocean. Now it's going to be in the river instead.
I see. I go ahead and go on the computer and see if there's been anything I can access on the internet that's available or whatever of like new industry that's dumping near that area, if there's been any scientific research in that area looking at water quality and all that.
Okay. Go ahead and just give me another reason check.
Would I be able to take advantage of my computer's talent for that?
Yes.
Sweet.
More for appropriate word search for articles.
Cool. All right.
And while he's doing that, I'm actually going to look up what specifically I was looking for as well. Reason check for me as well, because this place has more than one computer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm going to
it's the same computer, but more than
just
one
multiple
access point.
terminals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it's
All
powerful
right.
enough for multiple people to be searching on or whatnot.
Nope. That roll sucked.
Okay.
I got a 4.
All right.
All
So
right.
you search and absent-mindedly click on like the first link that comes up, and you get onto somebody's, in sync GeoCity site by mistake. And you're like, yeah,
I was
I was
expecting you're going
way
to say a
off.
conspiracy site.
Nice.
And it's playing a MIDI. It's all meow, 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 meow.
All right. Meanwhile, I got a 78 with amazing reason with the computer's talent.
Okay. Oddly enough, you're not coming up with any articles that talk about like water quality or anything of that nature, media-wise, that hit anywhere in the state.
Okay, gotcha. Right. So I turned to Freddie. According to what's publicly available, not finding anything with regard to water quality, dumping, anything industrial in that area.
All right. Then looks like I'm going to be Mr. Expose again.
You plan on alerting authorities?
Well, once I get down there officially and I do a swim through the river with my camera crew and I have it documented, yes.
You need assistance?
Nah. I'm gonna grab some vials for sampling, but I didn't have any test tubes or anything like that on me when I went down there earlier. I was looking to see if any of the aquatic life knew about blackout, and I couldn't find anything. and they alerted me to poor living conditions, and they navigated me up there.
I see. If you do require any assistance of any nature, please contact me.
Absolutely. This will probably happen next week sometime, if not 2 weeks from now.
Understood.
And
With
so, just to give you, not to interrupt, but just to give you a frame of reference, because the city of Strongford, it sits in the real life location of Rangeley, Colorado. You've got the Kenny Reservoir just up the way on the freeway a bit, which the river itself, which is bigger in the game than it is in real life. The river, White River, ends up connecting to.
Okay, so the big blue spot is Kenny Reservoir.
Yep. White River ends up feeding into Green River, which feeds into the Colorado River.
Okay, and I see where the city's Strongford situation at, because it looks like it's situated more on the northeast side, the southwest side of the reservoir, but northeast of the river or northwest of the river, right?
Mhm.
Okay. It's not unusual for some companies to take shortcuts and just dump. It wouldn't be the first time I found something like this and got it caught on camera.
Or we can clean up our city, the better.
Yeah, this one's a little bit easier to go through legal proceedings than to anything else. Plus, it'll make it for my twins, for my other two triplets. It'll make it a bit easier for them while they're in their service, because deviants as we are, we still, as much good as we do, we're still considered deviants to a lot of people. So anytime I can show good, I show good.
This is an excellent goal. I believe we should try to advance deviant civil liberties in any way we can whenever we see the opportunity.
As long as it's legal.
Of course.
I've heard some people say those phrases before, and they end up like Blood Goblin. More focused on the goal than focused on the cause. And if play things like World War II and World War One, Vietnam has ever taught us, the ends never justify the means.
It does seem that humanity has difficulty with radicalization. They attempt change, but they take extremes to do so, and inadvertently create more problems than they are trying to solve.
It's how monsters get created. Dictators don't rise to power because they're monsters and everybody sees them as monsters. Dictators rise to power because people see them as good people first. There's a playbook that you can go by to create a good dictator. And he will explain this, because Justin is not getting off on a political rant about how to radicalize a large group of people. And he'll end up, but I'm sure you knew a great deal of this already.
I have been studying as much as I can about the human condition so that I may more adapt with humanity. It is what's gotten me here so far. We must take the bad with the good, but do what we can to modify that and truly manifest a better destiny.
Another heavy words to use. Manifest destiny was what the colonists, blah, blah, blah. And he'll explain that too.
Yeah.
Again, Justin does not want to get off on a political rant here.
Yeah.
One of the better things about being in the Navy like I was, I got to learn a lot about how people do things when they're given power and how they behave with said power. But with that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and go to sleep. I'm going to go out to my hotel now. And
Understood.
he'll go to his hotel and catch some Z's.
Okay.
Because I imagine this has taken us all day, if not a couple of days.
Well, it's definitely taken the better part of the day with the research and coding and everything that you're trying to do and waiting for the shipment to come in. Is Mark doing anything in the meantime, since sleep really isn't something he's required to do?
Right, exactly. I'm a 24/7 hero. Let's see.
So what you're saying is you want to go wrestle for the 24/7 belt, right?
He might be able to do it. He was able to tuck down Blunt Goblin.
Yep.
You
Hyperion comes walking in with like a strap over his shoulders, 24, just cutting a promo.
And at this point, he might need to turn himself off and turn himself back on again, because his RAM might be getting a little full at the moment.
True. Power cycle whenever you need.
Sorry, couldn't help myself. I deal with people who I have to tell them to power. I have to tell software engineers to power cycle their machines on a regular basis. Software engineers.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Sorry,
You're
I apologize.
You're good.
Let's see. So I'm already doing the. Is there anything else I can do with regard to the AI, or have I put in pretty much what I can do for now?
Do you have any ideas that you might want to throw at it? I mean, you did coding right now, and you've got plans on getting additional processors, and at this point in time, math coprocessors, because that was a thing until they were combined.
Right. Let's see. Well, I guess I can do some testing to see if it's able to string together sentences that make sense, to see if it can how advanced it's able to get procedurally, I guess.
So you're going to try and debug the software then?
More or less, yeah, just to make sure that it works, because if we're talking to it and it's then outputting some weird gibberish, well, that's not going to work. So I've got to make sure that it actually sounds conversational.
Okay. So you won't be able to install the software as of just yet, but you can go through and try to debug it to see if you've made any errors or wrong call signs or whatnot. So go ahead and make a roll to double check all that, with your work so far.
91.
Okay. Yeah, so you are pretty confident you are on the right track.
I'll be right back.
Sure, no problem. Kind of going back over what you've got, going for your feed. And as you were going over it, you end up another screen pops with an alert from the news, and it looks like some high-tech bandits have struck at they've actually struck at a shipment that was inbound for Strongford. At about this time, which now it's, since he went to bed, we're talking like 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
So the shipment was high-tech parts and equipment. It didn't say specifically, but the police the police were currently giving chase to the thieves who accidentally tipped off the shipping company through an advanced warning system that they had on their shipping containers when one of the seals broke.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So a helicopter's trying to follow them and keep up, and they're like, they got the spotlight on it and broadcasting, that they're chasing the thieves in transit who are currently on their way to Dinosaur, Colorado, which is a real place.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, then with that, I will alert Ms. McCall and ask her if you would want us to actually intercept these bandits.
Well, you're the team leader at this point. You can make
Understood.
you can make some of these calls, but I believe that would probably be an easy win if this is to be expected. Bandits do this, or thieves try to do this all the time. It's low hanging fruit, but at this point, take what you can get.
Do this. Thank you. I go ahead and try to reach Freddy on the risk communicator. Like Angler, Hyperion coming in.
Is it morning?
Nope, you just got to your hotel room.
Hey, what's up?
The computer has alerted us to high-tech bandits that have struck a shipment inbound for Strongford recently. The police are currently giving chase. They're on their way to Dinosaur, Colorado. I believe we should attempt to intercept them.
All right, I'll get into an alleyway and change. And I'll get on flight and I'll rocket over to you guys.
Excellent. Right.
And he'll do exactly that. He'll go a couple blocks away, throw on his mask, and rocket his way into like an intercept to where the ship is going.
Okay. Well, so you're going to give pursuit from where your hotel is at, or nearby, I should say.
Yeah. So he's gonna get like the trajectory of where they're going, and like if they're going this way, he's gonna meet them like right here. That way he can just jump onto the ship and save himself energy.
Sure. Okay.
But that way he can get on the way as well, and
Right.
there's not a delay.
Okay. So the pilot at this point has fired up the strike craft transport, for occupancy of 1 at this point.
All right.
With Hyperion, and it rockets off out of the vein from the mountainside and takes off into flight. This is the first time that you've had a chance to see what the city looks like at night from the air, and it's actually quite lovely. It reflects off of the river nearby, and the reservoir can kind of sort of be seen from the some ambient moonlight. Pilot tells you, and it's like, okay, so I'm picking them up on the radar. They are about 3 miles out, so we should be catching up to them at current speeds probably in the next 2 minutes.
Understood. All right. Let's see here. I try to inform Lightbringer also of
Okay.
what's going on to see if she responds.
At this point, there's no current response.
Okay. And I do the same for Ixion too, just to cover all the bases.
Right. Oh,
yeah. Okay. Then I contact Angler. Angler, this is Hyperion. It appears that Lightbringer and Ixion are currently indisposed. It'll be you and I on this mission.
He clicks back twice on his wrist communicator.
Right.
Just to show that he acknowledges it.
Yeah.
And you've quickly found one of the issues that you should probably debug, because his rocket is rather loud. He's going to need some sort of commo, like for his throat or something, so you can actually hear him. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to sound like you've radioed into the back of a jetliner. It's like, okay, well, we picked up something. I mean, he got the message.
Okay. All right.
What does it click mean? I don't know. Let me look up military protocols.
All right.
But you do end up catching up to, as you're rocketing through the sky, you end up seeing the strike craft slowing down at this point so that you can catch up. The door kicks open just a bit so you can finish rocketing in to catch up to the craft as it pursues further. As you are catching up rather easily to the helicopters that are in flight. There's a police helicopter chasing it, and as well as a news helicopter. Everybody going top speed, trying to keep up with the big semi, which is slowly starting to outrun them since it's just flat land. You can see just barely. You can see the what looks to be like a woman in a cape following behind.
Okay.
Do I recognize her as some sort of hero?
Not from what you can tell. You're too far back and up. And
Okay.
the spotlight that the police have is directly on the vehicle they're pursuing. So it's, not the light is not shining enough on the individual following behind.
He goes up to the pilot. Is there a way we can scan what's in the cargo of that 18-wheeler?
The only information we have at this point is it looks like it's parts and technical equipment, as the media had indicated. I'm not picking up any, anything abnormal on heat signatures.
I can attempt to project one of my copies into that container to see what might be inside.
Go ahead and try that. As we get closer, I might be able to put the driver to sleep, but that can be a dangerous act if there is volatile devices within the back of that truck.
Your reasoning is sound. Projecting copy. And I go ahead and try to do that.
Okay, go ahead and give me a psyche check to project your image further out and into the moving vehicle.
Okay. Would I be using psyche or my illusory duplication ability?
The illusory duplication is the intensity in which you do. So that's
Okay.
basically like how far you could go out with it.
Okay. 64. My psyche is only at a good.
That's still a good roll. Let's take a look. You said 64 and you got a good?
Yeah.
That's a green result. Okay.
Sweet.
So it takes you a little bit longer you had anticipated because you haven't done something like this to focus, but you first try, you get it like right at the edge of the very last shipping container that happens to be on the back of this flatbed. True to form, there's a middle aisle, and then there's like several, not shipping containers, but like crates and whatnot piled up on the inside.
Okay.
There is very dim running lighting on the inside of here, so it will be difficult to look around.
Okay.
But if you give me an intuition check, you can kind of poke around and look at the labels and whatnot.
Gotcha. 9.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit too dark for you to make out what the labels actually say, and poking into already dark containers isn't going to be very good.
Okay. Gotcha.
You don't see, however, you don't see anything that says like explosive or any obvious warning signs.
Okay. Yeah. Like the symbols that'd be easier to see than like the writing or whatever.
Which
Okay.
are often made like reflective and whatnot too. So yeah, you don't see
Okay.
anything like that.
Okay. Then my actual self says out loud, I'm not noticing anything that indicates it's explosive or reactive or volatile in any way. There are many different shipping containers. The lighting is too dim to read, but there are none of the danger symbols that would be on containers.
No triangle symbols or no diamond symbols. All right.
That I can find.
He makes sure that he has his costume on right, his whole face covered up. Wish me luck. And he's just going to jump out of the back of the ship and throw one rocket. I'm coming off as a 2-trick pony, but these are good tricks.
Okay. So you jump out like America's ass and rocket your way towards the the truck that's trying to get away. You can see now that you've jumped out and you've rocketed from your position that you're at, you can see maybe a half mile back there are some squad cars that are advancing, that are catching up on land, or maybe highway patrol at this point. But you can see the sirens of at least 2 vehicles coming up behind.
All right, I want to get in front of the truck and take a look inside before I do anything else.
Okay. Give me an intuition check.
Come on, boy! You give me at least 190 a night. Nope. 13.
Oh, all right. So you flip around and rocket up to the front, and just as you come around to take a look at like what's in the cab, you get hit by a vehicle coming the other way. That hurts like a son of a bitch. You're able to absorb 10 of it from your uniform. Colliding with an inbound car, however, ends up giving you an additional 20 points of damage, and it sends the car careening off to the side, as it looks like they're about to wreck.
First things first, I try to catch the car. Outside of water, I do have remarkable strength, so I might be able to prevent it from crashing.
That is 1 ton maxed out, so it will be quite the strain, but I will say that's superhuman enough to make this effort.
And just because this is a follow-up to a fuck up, I'm going to say 100 karma ahead of time on this one. On the roll.
Oh, so you're just going to spend 100 karma outright?
Yeah.
Okay. So then no need to roll. So you will yourself at this point to correct the error that you made, and you're obviously not able to pick up the car because it's speeding and careening, but between your rocket, like getting a solid hold on it and your rocket thrust, you're at least able to keep it going a straight direction without, like flying off the road, into a ditch at rapid speed. You can tell that when you connected, it caused the driver to go unconscious, and they're like resting up against the wheel, which it looks like they're probably resting on the throttle.
Is the car still trying to move?
Oh no, yeah, it's still rocketing down the road. It's just you've kept it going straight.
Okay. Oh man, I can't think of a way to recover from this one easily.
Let's see.
Actually, I do have a way. I'm going to telepathically communicate with them to wake up.
Go ahead. That is a psyche check.
40 on a incredible.
Okay, so that is a green result. You get the equivalent to static. They are unconscious, so it is you're not able to actually rouse them through basically trying to yell at them in their head. As you guys are flying, Hyperion, you can see that obviously something happened, and the angler has got a hold of this car and rocketing down the road in the other direction. Like it quickly goes whoosh, the other way, and when you see that, you actually see whatever woman that was following break off and start following them.
Okay. So
and on the communicator, my bad.
yeah. Okay. Let's see. So they're like heading in like kind of the opposite direction now as like the high-tech bandits. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Damn.
So you have a choice to make at this point, if to continue to pursue or to circle back and make sure the angler's got everything taken care of.
Yeah, but we also saw the caped woman headed towards Angler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I communicate to Angler. Angler, the caped woman is headed to you. Do you need extra assistance?
Only one beep.
Understood. Good luck. So then we continue on towards the high-tech bandits.
Okay. So as you are rocketing and holding on to the vehicle, you end up seeing a woman coming up. It's mostly a blue outfit with a cape. Her long hair is like just blowing back at this point, so there's no real discernible shape to it. She has an eye mask on, kind of a blue singlet with thigh-high boots. The white that's on there is accentuated with like a star pattern. Not cosmic like, more patriotic looking.
Yeah.
And as she's flying, you see some sort of like distortion coming from the thigh-high boots that she's wearing. So maybe that's the effect or whatnot.
Okay, no, the distortion's coming from somewhere else, but yeah, let's go with its effect from the boots.
So she flies up right beside you because she sees you're like holding on to this, and she points to you and yells, because again, you guys are traveling kind of fast. She's like, "Go to the front!"
Did I grab this thing from the back?
You grabbed it from the side.
I'll switch position and move to the front.
Okay. Give me an agility check.
Oh, this is
Like, I'm gonna make him roll agility out of water. It's gonna happen.
At least this one I managed to do well enough. 74.
And you have a typical?
No, I have a good.
Okay. All right. So without letting go of the vehicle, you kind of like do one of those, like accelerate enough to hold on and go to the front. And then she as you do that, she points to you again and yells. She says, "Push the other way!" And then as she does that, you hear her scream, and the front tires blow.
And she was saying push the other way. Was she pointing in direction?
Yeah, basically in reverse.
Yeah, then I put on full power.
Okay. So just give me at this point a power check for your rocket.
Good thing I have remarkable on this one. 42. Yay, it's green.
Okay. Yeah, doing all this above water has been an interesting exercise for you. But as that happens and you see the sparks flying up from underneath the vehicle, because the tires have been blown out, you pushing it back, even though the car, the back tires are starting to squeal at this point, it's slowing down. You are significantly more of a force than the engine in this car. And okay, I'll get to you in just a second then. So Mark, at this point, you in the craft are following the truck as they are making their way down the freeway.
Making my way downtown.
The police.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, the police are catching up, but they are obviously much slower.
Okay.
Because they were further back.
Right.
The helicopters are having more and more difficult of a time keeping up with the truck. It's flying at this point. You guys must be doing like almost 90.
Okay. And so it's essentially like a flatbed truck with like shipping containers in the back, and so it's like just a cab in the front controlling it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then I tell the pilot to punch it so that we get ahead, so that I can try to jump on top of the cab. And while he's working on that, I then want to take my projection copy that I have
Mhm.
and have him actually just kind of shift into the cab area. Just even if like the people are going to see him, he's just kind of he's in there and take a look at least to see what's going on first.
Okay. So pilot tells you, yeah, no problem. So he accelerates. I mean, this craft can beat the truck any day of the week.
Right.
So it's he accelerates even faster to get you closer and dips down and opens up the back. Go ahead and give me an agility check as you dive off the back.
Okay. $72.
Yeah, not a problem. So he got you in right position. This wasn't even a stunt show for you. It was literally like you step off, a little bit of a hop,
Yeah.
you're right on top. Yeah, it's absolute perfect.
Nice.
Only thing
Okay.
you have to adjust for is the wind coming from this, but you're strong enough. It's not even budging you.
Okay. Gotcha. Uh, have I gotten my copy to pop into the cab that I'm standing on yet?
Yeah. So and at that point, you don't even have to roll. Your local area, you just manifest another one. It comes off of you and sinks into the cab. And you see a very crude looking robotic drone. We're talking, very stereotypical, like just kind of the thin metal arms and torso,
Okay.
almost like, very skeletal looking, just with one like eye just kind of doing this and keeping the truck going forward.
I'm picturing a like Geth-esque type of construct, like from Mass Effect, more or less, but maybe more bare bones, with the
Yeah,
whole like one eye type of
yeah,
thing going on.
yeah.
Okay.
Although not nearly as nice and round,
Okay.
much more rough.
Gotcha. Okay. Is that the only thing in here? Is just that
Yeah.
weird machine driving things? Okay.
Mhm.
Then I have my copy, since I can speak through my copies. I have it say, "Why are you doing this?"
All right. Well, it turns and looks at you, and its method of communication is um, it sounds like connecting to the internet,
Okay.
which is a legit method of communication because and I know this personally because um, I had to watch somebody send an order through a phone. Basically, they had to do this and connect it to the phone
Mhm.
for their corporate when I worked at AMPM at one point. And I was like, that is just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But
Mm.
it's the sound of everything going through it. It's actually transmitting that data.
Long shot, but with me being an android, do I have any way of like interpreting
You can
that sort of
absolutely give that a
information?
shot. But I mean,
Okay.
it even throws you off because you're used to at this point the high level advanced speech and what. So when that hits you, you're like, okay.
Yeah. All right. See here. Probably not. Only 15.
Okay, yeah, you probably could, but it's caught you such unawares that that's its level of outward communication that it's got you stumped at this point.
Okay. All right. Then with that, I'm gonna see if I can kind of reach around to the passenger side door. Am I able to like open it up so that I can just kind of, with my strength, just kind of put myself in there?
The door is locked, but yeah, you could absolutely do that.
Okay. Well, go ahead and attempt that then.
Okay, so you're just gonna break the lock and open the door, just like okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not easy, might as well. Better
Sure.
one door's destroyed.
Okay. Now, are you gonna remove the door, like just force it open, or are you just gonna break the window and unlock and unlatch?
Uh, I mean, yeah, so since I guess I do want to minimize damage, so if I try it, it doesn't open. Yeah, just a simple break, unlock, open type of deal.
Okay.
Just make that easy.
Sure. All right.
So got a 67.
Okay. So that is, I mean, it's literally not a problem. It's you don't have to exert too much strength. It's the glass kind of shatters. You just push it inward. It lets off with this various sound that it did before. It's hard to tell if it even has any sort of recognition of like exclamation or whatnot. It's responding. That's just it. And you just unlatch it and open the door like without any problem.
Okay. Right. I get myself in there and then close the door behind me.
Okay. So you push it out of the way, or do you come in from the passenger side?
I'm coming in from the passenger
Okay.
side first.
Okay, that's not a problem.
I
mean, it doesn't do anything. It just sees you, responds one more time, and just keeps in the same manner, and it keeps going.
Okay. So now that I'm here, I want to see on it if there's any like ports or whatever I can like connect to see if I can just kind of directly communicate or control it.
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me an intuition check. And then while you were doing that, the angler. So you two have successfully brought this car to a stop. The driver is starting to come to, and as you guys bring it to a stop, one of the highway patrol like do a U-ey real quick and start pulling back.
I yell,
where
"Kill
you guys
the engine!"
Yeah.
If I see the guy begin to rouse, I say, "Kill the engine!"
He just fumbles and like tries to and turns it off. He's got like blood coming off his head and whatnot. Thankfully, now that you've had a chance to look at it and it stopped, it doesn't look like the concaved top of the car came in and hit him. It looks like the impact forced him to bash his head into the steering wheel. It's not as bad as it could be.
Can I do a reason check? And I do have genetics. I don't know if it would count for this to see if he looks like he's like full on concussed.
Genetics would not help for this, but yes, you could definitely make a reason check.
10.
All right. Everything's happening a bit too fast. You're not too sure.
You know what? I've had nights where all I do is win, win, win. Tonight is not that night.
Man.
So the girl who is with you touched down and is the officers, or I should say the officer comes up in the highway patrol vehicle. She doesn't acknowledge you at this point. She looks directly at the highway patrol officer and she says, "Officer, I'm Battle Him Bell, and this person here needs your attention." And then she just takes off at this point and flies off to let the officer deal with it, trying to catch up to the speeding vehicle.
I asked him, "Sir, what's your name?"
He's just like,
No. Hey.
Jim.
Hey, Jim. Hey, look at me real quick. And I keep trying to get his attention over where I'm at.
He just like looks at it and he's like, "You're not going to ask me if I like sacks that hit my chin, are you?"
No. I want to see if you're okay.
Why don't you go ahead and give me an intuition check as you look around?
As I switch dice again.
Yeah.
21.
All right. Yep. So you're kind of oblivious. So he's just like, really out of it. And the officer comes running up real quick and he's like, "What the hell happened?"
I accidentally slammed into him when I was trying to see who the driver of the truck was.
He's like, I'm sure that makes sense in your world, but I'm obviously going to have to fill out a report, so stay put. And so he like shines the light on the guy at this point, and he's like, "Oh man, that guy is like concussed." And so he, grabs the radio real quick and he phones that in for the guy. So Mark,
Okay.
so you were looking around. You got a what?
I only got a 7.
7. Okay. You
This
successfully
is
find.
not our night.
You're looking around. The only thing that stands out to you at this point is the cigarette lighter in the cab of the truck.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you're not seeing anything currently as of this point.
All right.
You end up seeing the one of the um, shipping containers at this point. One of them in the back blows open, and something comes flying out.
I try to look more carefully to see if I could tell what that was.
Intuition check.
Hey, 98.
All right. So you end up seeing a guy with. He's in an orange and black outfit. Very high tech looking, layered armor. His head is on fire and looks like a jack o' lantern.
Okay.
As he comes thrusting out and you can actually see like the exhaust ports of his boot jets or whatnot as he comes flying out. He's got an armful of something.
Okay. Let's see here.
Is it loud enough for me to hear?
No.
Okay.
At this point, they're far enough down the road you don't hear it.
I communicate with Angler and I say, Angler, Hyperion, are you okay?
Yeah, the guy seems to have suffered a concussion in the car.
There is a superpowered individual who has left one of the crate containers. They are in flight. Are you able to intercept them?
Now. I'll be back, officer, and he just rockets off.
And so he's like, "Hey, wait a minute!" And he's,
I'm
Right.
sure the police are used to people interfering like this.
Yeah.
Even if it's not that individual officer.
they still got to do their job.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to do their job. Since you got a good look at him, why don't you give me an intuition check, Dale?
Okay. All right, 94.
Oh, damn. This is actually a well-known classified as a villain. His name is Dr. October.
Okay. What do I know of him other than what I've just seen of him?
Not a whole lot. Primarily hits high-tech targets. Doesn't do the your typical ransom or smash and grab at banks or anything of that nature. Usually when he's striking, it's something like this.
Okay, gotcha. Then I go ahead and do I know if he's known for like using other types of like explosives? Like what's his method of like doing damage? Because I'm ultimately seeing if like this drone is gonna like explode now that he's left or something.
That's hard to tell.
Okay.
But everything is derived from technology based from like his suit.
Okay.
So, and he has a myriad of things. So sometimes it could be arranged from, blasters housed in his forearms to higher powered, rifles. He is known to have high tech minions, so he will use drones more often than not, giving him more of a numeric advantage in that sense.
All right, then I go ahead and for this drone that's in front of me, I'm first going to try to disable it. Since I wasn't able to find any buttons or ports or anything, I'm just going to see if I can grab its shoulders, grab its head, just pop that off so that it's damaged without being like completely annihilated, because I want to see if I can like study it later if possible.
So either way, you're going to disable it. Give me a strength check.
Okay.
To see if you're able to do it carefully.
Yeah. Dang, 94 again.
Okay. Yeah, so you do one of those like, okay, I'm going to forcibly turn here or there and find out like where, just a touch and feel sort of thing, like you would do if you were about ready to rub somebody's shoulders to find the tension.
Right.
You do kind of the same thing with the form. You're just like, oh, hey, that feels like a structural weakness. Clunk. And then it sparks and just turns off immediately. And of course, the foot no longer depresses the gas and it's just sort of going straight at this point.
And at that point, I go ahead and kind of move myself in so I can like safely get it to a stop, engage the emergency brake.
Okay. And as you were doing that, you end up hearing more commotion coming from the back as several people start jumping off the back of the container and start rocketing away on rocket backs.
Jeez.
This you do end up seeing at this point, Angler, as you're flying back up the road and bypassing the helicopters. You end up seeing 4 burn trails of looks like people escaping via rocket pack from the back of this container.
Do I see October Man?
No, you do not.
Sorry, I don't. You said it was like Dr. October or
Yes.
something like that.
Dr. October.
Is one of them within range for me to put to sleep?
Actually, all of them are potentially within range to put to sleep.
Do I see Battle Hymn?
You do. She's still in front of you at this point, so targeting wise, you may want to try engage and get closer because you could put all of them out if you're not careful.
Like, damn it.
I'm gonna target one of them, so whoever's closest. That way I can prevent them from accidentally killing themselves from falling from a terminal velocity.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get close enough, and then I'm gonna knock them out.
All right, give me a psyche check.
Oh, well, yeah, I can do that. 90.
Okay. So thankfully you caught him quick enough as he was getting off. So, I mean, he started to go fast, but he wasn't like at max speed. So you put him out and you just kind of see the contrail go down as he biffs it hard into the ground. Mark, you hear a loud scream of some kind. Like it actually starts to rattle the windows on the cab that you're in, and you end up seeing one of the other guys get struck with something like a sonic buffer of some kind, and sparks come off the pack, and similar, like it kind of goes wild and biffs it. Even in the darkness nearby, you see the dirt kind of kick up as he hits it hard.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see here. So at this point, I mean, I know they kind of flew off. Or do I see any other dudes in the back, or was it just those 4 that just took off?
Do you use your image, the illusory image that you have not dispelled yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, you don't see anything. And what you do see, since there's some ambient light from the helicopters shining down still at this point, because you're slowing down, it looks like the only container was this first container that anybody was interested in. And you can see that there's like one, maybe there was room for where like one package on the inside was setting, and there's like wires and stuff, or the cabling and whatnot to keep it secure. That's all undone. And then on the other side, there's like a bunch of broken open containers, almost like somebody was very hastily grabbing stuff.
Okay.
Along the other side.
Gotcha. Okay. Can I, looking around with the extra light, can I see now, with the like hastily grabbed stuff anyway, like labeling or whatever indicating what was in there?
Yes, actually, a lot of this was for Alpine Technologies. It looks like it was the way the labeling is shipped. And from what you can tell, these are all high-end like processors, motherboards, mainframe setups. You know, very more in the sense of medical based, but I mean, it could still be cross-purposed for a number of different things.
Okay,
So,
but it sounds
so
like
very high-end.
okay, and it sounds like mainly like computer technology,
Mhm.
but for like medical purposes.
Usually used for medical purposes, yes, but I mean,
Okay,
it's computer hardware, so it could really be used for anything.
got it. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Then once I get this truck to a full stop, then I go ahead and take the damaged kind of robot with me, get out of the truck. Um, I look around to see if I can see any of the other flying dudes, if there are any, or Dr. October.
Give me an intuition check as you were looking around. You can tell that that lady is apparently pursuing one of them, and if you want to, at this point, you
Is
can
the
pursue
other
the last one.
is the other last one in my pursuit range?
Yeah.
All right, I was just waiting for you to finish with him. I'm going to pursue
Mhm.
the last guy.
Yeah, I figured that was what you're doing since two of them went down, so it just leaves two left.
My roll was a 77.
77. Okay. Give me a psyche check. I take it you're trying to put the other one to sleep, Justin?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Again, the one thing I can do right. 72.
Okay. Yeah, so you focus again to bring him down, and he was going faster at this point, so it was one of those like nighty night, and then he ends up nosediving. He eats it hard, but he clearly goes to sleep in just like dust and dirt and everything kicking up outside.
Would I know if that would be enough to kill him?
You might want to check on him.
Yeah. That's what he's going to do. He's going to go and check on him after he puts him to sleep.
The other one that the woman is pursuing is at this point trying to get evasive and like swinging back and forth to try and get away. And she misses with like the first sonic strike, but the second one he swings right into. And she ends up collapsing one of the valves on his rocket pack, and again nosedives hard into the dirt. So she goes flying off to go take a look at them.
Was I able to get anything on the intuition check?
Yeah, actually, so you saw what just occurred. You do
Okay.
not get a reading on Dr. October.
Okay.
So immediately the first thought was based upon how quickly he got out and the fact that you can't see somebody with a fiery head. He has some sort of stealth technology.
Yeah. Okay.
So he something about he was ready to bug out.
Yeah, exactly.
But you also recognize Battle Hymn Bell. She is a part-timer to the Justice Legion.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
When I land next to the guy, I immediately strip his rocket pack off.
Okay.
I know it sounds crazy, but I don't want this guy to wake up and all of a sudden zoom, zoom, zoom. But yeah, and then I'll do a quick like one over on the like a pseudo medical check.
Okay.
Like it has his head popped off.
No, his head has not popped off or anything of that nature. Go ahead and give me an intuition check as you're checking him out.
21.
All right.
Okay. Oh wait.
Is he breathing?
You don't have a mirror to check, so you're not sure. But to your benefit, you roll him right side up, so that way he's not face down in the dirt. That is your contribution to his medical condition at this point.
Dr. Freddy.
Put him to sleep. 110.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, are you alive?
So at this point,
I don't know.
at this point, the other highway patrolman comes up. The helicopter is circling around and shining down the light. And the girl comes walking over and she's like, great job stopping the truck, but were you able to stop Dr. October?
He was the first to take off. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Who is?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Who was? He was the first one to leave. Unfortunately, he seems to have a type of stealth technology. Otherwise, I would have been able to find him.
All right, they're gonna have to write that one off for insurance. And then, of course, the news helicopter circling around as well. So the media is going to be here anytime now. Who are you guys?
Not a character. I know. Dale, was not at the episode where we were like being handed out initially, like the different costumes and whatever. Did we ever come up with a name for the team?
Legacy was but it was never like announced in the media or anything of that nature.
Okay. All right. I say, I am Hyperion, part of Legacy.
Legacy. Yeah, I can't say I've heard of you guys. Is the accident-prone rocket guy with you?
He is. That is the angler. We apologize for that.
Okay. I'm sure that kind of fits the motif somewhere. Okay. So I guess you do you at this point. I'm going to check the container because I'm here on assignment, or at least was, to assess the damage. Has anything else happened while you were here that I should know?
What you've seen is what's happened there. Seems that they were only after what was in the first container here. And of course, I have apparently Dr. October's drone, as I pulled up his pieces, that was actually driving the vehicle.
Yeah, that's not one of his.
How do you know?
Long story, I've had some run-ins with him before. But yeah, that doesn't look like one of his. That's kind of crude. He usually has more advanced models. So I don't know where that came from. Okay, well, I guess just sit tight, and if you can keep the officer off me for a bit, I need to double check the container.
Of course. While she's doing that, I now that I'm outside and I've got some ambient lights and whatnot, I'm gonna like take a closer look at like the pieces of the machine here to see if like I can tell if there's like a name of a company or something else identifying this thing.
Oh, sure, go ahead. Go ahead and give me an intuition check.
Is anybody pulling up on this location?
Yeah, there's a highway patrolman coming up. At this point, you guys are like getting the people together and getting them handcuffed, at least, the guys who are in rocket packs, and de-arming them.
Before the police, the trooper shows up, I want to take a look at the hardware he was trying to get away with.
Okay. Give me an intuition check as well.
Come on!
What'd you get?
Mine was only 11.
Okay. You don't see anything of that nature, which would make sense if this is a custom job.
Sure. Five. Ouch.
All right. So,
all of you guys.
Justin, what you were able to confirm is he has a box. The box is clearly labeled Alpine Technologies.
It's Alpine!
We are awesome detectives.
I'm not a detective, apparently.
Okay.
And this is what's funny about the way this character got rolled, is he was rolled for a completely different environment.
Yeah, exactly.
sorry for anyone watching this. I find this personally funny. I've done one thing well throughout this entire 8 episodes, and that has been put people to sleep.
That's not true. Your rocketing has been fairly effective. Like you brought the whole team around at one point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
going
I've
down
also
in going down in closed or tight locations with rocket, not so good. But
Right. Okay. Then I do whatever I can before the police catch up, the rest of the police on the ground catch up with the truck, to just kind of look over this machine, kind of memorize as much of it as I possibly can, and to see what information I can glean. I also do like one more check out that there's more light to see if I can plug in and get anything from it, if any of it's on.
sure, go ahead. Roll one more time. You can hear another craft coming up now too.
Man, 26.
26. All right. Yeah, it's at this point there's enough commotion and enough going on, and the fact that you're trying to keep your eyes open for everything else that you're if you
Okay.
keep it with you, and investigate further, you would have a better chance of uncovering any secrets this little guy might have. But as of right now, no clue.
Got it. Okay. In the meantime, I go ahead and disperse any photon copies I've got going on, and just then whenever the cops on the ground start showing up, I start to walk towards them so I can interact with them.
Okay. Yeah, the officers at this point have made sure that the individuals here have been handcuffed, as they are not like SPBs of any nature. They're not calling in hoplite. The other vehicle that is coming in has 2 giant rotors on the side. So think, or like I should say, like fan rotors, sort of look to it. Kind of like the similar to the vehicles you see in Avatar.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
kind of like that.
Like that large too, like capable of holding like a bunch of people and like machine. Okay.
Yeah, but only one of them.
Okay.
And it's touching down, and as it's touching down, you see Battle Hymn Bell is walking towards them, and you see emblazoned on the side of the vehicle is like AF, and in like smaller letters as it's spelled out like corporate, like it says Aegis Foundation.
Okay.
And so some individuals come, you're running out. They look like they look in a way kind of like the hoplite agents that you've seen before.
Okay.
But closer to Shield at this point, like and from the comic books. So uniform kind of jumpsuit, patches that match, say Aegis Foundation. They've got a sidearm with them. They've got some equipment and whatnot. They look like a high-tech private security firm. And
Okay.
some guy walks over and they immediately start interacting with the the officers on hand, and they seem not so much concerned with the people that they have in custody, although they're questioning who they can. They're obviously more concerned with the vehicle.
Okay. Gotcha. So then we've got Battle Hymn Bell walking towards the VTOL, Aegis Foundation agents coming out, and the cops are they taking the doctor's minions like to the Aegis Foundation people, or what are they
No, it
doing?
looks like they're going to be taking them into custody. The Aegis Foundation, however, is just more so here, looking over what was taken, looking over the condition of the truck and whatnot. They seem to be filling out their own reports.
Gotcha. Okay.
And of course, securing the area.
Right. Okay.
But a separate truck ends up coming up for the paramedic, obviously, but then also a separate truck to take the 4 individuals away in, rather than put them in the back of cars to drive them back.
Was that guy alive?
Was that
Did the guy live?
Mhm. Yeah, the guy who you put to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just concussed, I imagine.
Somewhere therein.
Yeah.
You know what? 3-0 for the concussions tonight. I'm gonna count that as a win.
The concussor. All right.
That seems like I'm stepping on Battle Hymn's territory, though.
Yeah.
So she comes walking back to Hyperion. At this point, she says, "So I mean,
I'm gonna rejoin Hyperion once the cop gets that guy in custody.
sure." She says, "Not the best outing, but thanks, I guess, for your help." And she hands you a business card.
Thank you, Battlehead. We appreciate it.
She says, "These are my employer that I'm working for right now. They may be in contact with you at some point. So do you have like a number they can reach you at or something?"
Let's see. So then, did Miss McCall ever give us information regarding like the organization or what have you? Or
I would imagine she would give us public contact information at this point.
yeah.
The only contact information she had was for her.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say we'll make sure to have our PR representative contact you to establish communication, to ensure identities are kept private and so forth.
Sure. Okay, of course. So
Thank you.
So nice meeting you. You said your name was Hyperion and the
Angler.
the Angler. Okay, gotcha. Just not left angles, right?
Apparently not. Or looking behind me as I'm trying to see who's the driver of a moving vehicle is.
Fair enough. Okay, so she just says, like does one of those two finger things, like those guys, because she doesn't really know what to say, and
Right.
you can see the media coming over, and she just turns to go, address them.
All right. I go ahead and call for the jet to swing back around to pick us up.
And I do the liftoff thing again, and I grab onto him.
All right.
Okay, so you guys make a dramatic exit as you take off and fly away.
As he gets into the thing, he rips off once he's out of view and the deck is closed up, he
Yeah.
rips off the mask and flings it at the wall. And takes off his shirt because he's sure something's bruised.
Yeah, you're a little tender.
Motherfucker. Ugh.
And then you hear on you hear on your comm link, "Angler, I expect that you report back to the vein and begin in earnest some agility drills, particularly close quarter angle flight patterns."
Is there enough space in the vein for it?
That's the point.
He takes a look at his ribs and what he can see of his, he's a lot more flexible than I am, but I imagine he can look at his back. I used to be able to do that when I was younger.
You're gonna be okay. I mean, at least as far as you can tell, there's nothing like ripped open or anything of that nature. You took a good impact, was all.
Just looks like bruising, nothing. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I want to make sure of.
Mhm.
Because if it was something more like, let's say, already large swaths of black and blue, that normally means you have bleeding.
Yeah, no.
So I walk up to Angler and I say, would there be anything I could craft or manufacture for you that would help you in your flight?
No, not really. That was me not paying attention. It's like trying to look left and right at the same time, and I looked over my shoulder to look inside the vehicle, and then bam, by the other direction.
Then perhaps some sort of heads-up display. That way you do not have to change your main focus while still being able to see behind you to the left or to the right.
I'll worry about it later. I'm gonna lay down here, and he will just nap on the floor. Like he takes his suit, he bundles it up into a pillow,
Mm-hmm.
and he passes out.
Okay.
Which isn't probably a good thing, but he might be a little concussed.
When that happens, I see if I can grab any blankets or whatever and put that over Angler too. Boop. Do that for my bro.
There you go. There's like an emergency blanket in there. It's like one of those burlap sacks, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. La 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 la. Oh no.
Oh no, yeah.
The treatment for
Harry,
this
baby.
is
Harry, baby.
Right.
And the odd thing about that movie is that was nothing like the comic book, like not even close.
Oh, really?
They completely revamped everything, and I loved the revamp.
Yeah.
that was based off of a comic book?
Yeah.
Huh.
Sunfire and Big Hero 6.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a miniseries. I think it was like it was maybe 6 issues or something like that. But it had Sunfire, it had Silver Samurai, and then it had all the characters that you saw in there. Baymax was actually a kid who rode a dragon, not some fluffy marshmallow thing. The kid who had the dragon outfit and the signs, yeah, he wasn't even in there.
Wow.
Go-Go Tamago was there, but she looked way different. Like if you Google it, you'll see just how different it was. It's like completely different.
That's cool.
So at any rate, so when you end up getting back, the news is already starting to report on it, and there's commentary about some new group, because they've now linked it to what happened downtown. It's like this legacy group. Who are they? Are they deviants? Are they here to subvert the authority of our city, or are they here genuinely trying to make a difference?
We've got mystery going on. Great.
Yes, lots of mystery. And then you end up, what is that guy's name? Hold on one second. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there's a guy who comes on right after that. Looks like he's with a talk show that's tied to the local affiliate in Strongford called Tony Pope, and he has a show that he does called Hardcore, and he's like, I promise to expose each and every one of these superhero wannabes, for the trash that they are and the burden that they are on our great city. Tune in tomorrow for our next expose on Hardcore. Real Robert Downey Jr. Robert Morton Jr. I think was the guy's name, or
Okay.
and he ended up dying a long time ago. But he had one of those real racy talk shows around that time.
So it's just super anti-superhero, more or less.
Seems like it, yeah.
Okay.
And then right after that, right after the promo, or right after it, because it's late at night, they're like the paid promotional, commercial. It's all Stephen P. Doo, Stephen P. Doo, Stephen P. Doo, Stephen P. Doo. Call Stephen P. Doo, Stephen P. Doo, Stephen P. Doo. If you need to sue Stephen P. Doo, Stephen P. Doo, Stephen P. Doo. An outlaw mud show or two. He'll sue their ass.
I'm thinking you spent some time on this theme song. Just saying.
Yeah. I'm now glad we bought that lawyer.
So, with that being said, that's where we'll go ahead and call it for tonight, as you guys are making a wrap of everything that's going on. Although it wasn't completely successful, you got about 75-80% of everything. So you're gonna both of you will walk away with 200 extra karma. Also, give yourself two points in popularity.
Hey, I'm at a whopping 4. Sweet. Excellent.
Okay, so the next game then, hopefully we can have everybody there, would be October the 2nd. Sound good so far?
Sounds good to me.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so then with that, we'll go ahead and sign off for tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for playing. We'll have the episode, or issue, I should say, updated to YouTube here soon. It takes a little bit longer to get those uploaded now, so it takes me like almost half the day, the way the size of these files sometimes are. But otherwise, we'll see you guys then again soon. All right, take it easy. Bye.
Bye.
End stream.